Yo. Yeah. Yeah. Damn it. All right, let's go. Uh, 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 uh. Da, 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 da. And that's how we doing it. I says it. That's how we doing it tonight. It's Friday. Are y'all ready to talk about some black and white music tonight? We gonna do it now. I said, my name is Sun752 and I'm ready. Yeah, yo, keep them drums steady. We rock it every Friday night. You know how we do. I'm bringing this show, Daily Go-Gism Show, to you. We rock it hard. Go pull that card. It's time for you to play defense and get on guard. Let's do this drumming thing. Intro, baby, yo. Do you remember the 60s, 70s, the 80s, and 90s, y'all? Music's kind of segregated. You love it or you hate it. Right now, you wouldn't even believe it. It's understated. But there was a time when you stayed with your own kind. And that's whether you liked it or not. Yo, it's still hot. And hip hop was coming up in the 80s at all hours. Yo, we gave it away. We lent it away. Yeah, we shared that. Hey. What's up, y'all? Yeah. Let's get it. I'm not constipated, nigga. Keep it funky. I will not fall back. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. It's the daily go-get-em-ism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talk about black music versus white music era tonight. What do you know? What do you know about growing up in the 70s? What do you know about growing up in the 80s? What do you know about growing up in the 90s when there was a clear segregation of music? Today's generation, Gen Zs, probably cannot fathom a time when only black people listen to this music and only white people listen to that music. Now, of course, there were those who listened to all forms of music. And it could be argued that black people invented white rock and roll in the first place. So why wouldn't we listen to that also? Well, it was a cultural thing. It was a regional thing. It was an environmental thing. And depending on the types of radio stations and the promoters that were in the area, you may only have gotten a chance to listen to certain forms of music. Simple as that. But it was really a thing. There was really a such thing as black music and white music. And the way that you found that out was somebody told you when you were listening to the other side, other kind of music. That's white music. Don't worry about that mess there. So it could be argued that Michael Jackson started playing white music. And that's how he became the king of pop. Prince too. Because if you listen to their style of music when they were younger, developing, coming of age, and when they originated, definitely more along the soul era or funk for Prince. Prince was definitely playing funk. So the 80s made it cool to break out the guitar, start playing more rock riffs or rock oriented riffs, rock style of riffs. Because we found out that black people would listen to it. Because they was already listening to it. You had a lot of black people sneaking and listening to white music, quote unquote. But guess what? You had a lot of white people listening to a lot of black music too. Now, I can imagine how some of those conversations went. So, we're going to talk about that tonight. That there is what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a good conversation too. The black music versus white music era. Woo! I'm going to say, on the real, it took a while for that to phase out. That didn't just go. It didn't just go away. It didn't just, somebody didn't just declare, wave the white flag and declare a truce and declare peace amongst the musical community. Some things happened, and we're going to talk about what our opinion is of what happened to the black music versus white music era. And, all opinions are welcome, because I don't really think that there's any one thing that we can point to that we can say, well, yeah, this is what ended it. I can guarantee you that somewhere during the course of the evening or the morning, because it's late, somebody is going to say Michael Jackson is the one who got everybody to cross over. Well, it's not true. It's not even partly true, because we have evidence that there was already some crossover going on before Michael Jackson started blowing up. Now, what the contribution was to the whole thing, to break down and gentrifying music. We had to gentrify music. What's good? T Carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Dimples D's, thanks for coming on through. Always great to see. And what's that? Freestone? Treestone? Who? I don't know. We can talk about The Who. You remember the group The Who? Great group. The Who. You wouldn't find a lot of black people in the 70s, and the 80s listening to a lot of The Who. But they were a really good group. They were really good. Really, really, really good. Really good. Thanks everybody for coming through. Make sure that y'all hit the like button as y'all sashay on here. As y'all come through, you sashay on through. Make sure you hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. We do have a poll question up. I'd appreciate it if you participate in the poll. So I need you to do those two things, just those two things. I'm not going to ask you to do nothing else. Please hit the like button and participate in the poll. Hit the like button, participate in the poll. I said hit the like button, participate in the poll. The black music versus white music era. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Now, out the gate, how many of us are old enough to remember when music was more segregated? Who remembers the black music versus white music era? Who remembers saying, asking or being asked or hearing it said that certain music was either black music or white music? Many of y'all may have heard your parents talking about it or saying it. You started listening to pop music in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? It was different rhythms coming through. You may have grown up in a household where there was nothing but rhythm and blues and soul and jazz and, you know what I mean? With old B.B. King records, maybe some Sarah Vaughan, some what was the lady sings the blues? Billie Holiday. Going all the way back, you know what I'm saying? Gospel, right? Like the old Mahalia Jackson, the Clark sisters, those people. Well, anyway, so when you started playing, playing in your Walkman or on your radio or taping songs off the radio, David Bowie and the Culture Club and Cyndi Lauper and the Go-Go's and Jake Giles Band and 38 Special and Journey and Van Halen, and your parents might have been like, what is this shit you listening to? You're listening to that white music. Turn that mess off. Put on some Earth, Wind and Fire, something like that. Nobody would hear that. Listen to that mess in your headphones. Play that Walkman I gave you, man. Oh shit, I knew we shouldn't have sent you to that white school. You know what I mean? Should have sent you. We should have sent you right to the school around the corner. You know what I mean? Now look what happens. This is the real shit, because there was a lot of segregation going on in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah, it wasn't the Jim Crow era anymore, but that racism was still alive and well. And it came out in the ugliest ways. And sometimes it was funny. So holla if you've ever had to listen to your music low because you ain't want your parents getting on you about the music you was listening to. You ain't want your parents teasing you because you was, you know what I mean, sitting around watching videos, listening to Foreigner or somebody. I've been waiting for a girl like you, or urgent, emergency, urgent. Got caught. I want to know what love. Well, anyway, yeah, these are some of the things that happen. Get your Walkman so you can listen to your favorite tunes in peace. You listen to your pop tunes in peace. But where was you gonna watch videos at? You ain't had no Sony Watchman. I can guarantee you that. And if you did, you know, the service was so bad. It was so bad. I wonder if anybody has an old Sony Watchman. The little black and white handheld TV with the antenna, a full antenna on that bitch. Yeah, that was before the days of Wi-Fi. So you had to have a radio signal in order to watch TV. That Watchman was ass. I saw the picture on the Watchman. That shit wasn't nothing to envy. It wasn't even in color, dog. That shit came out in the 80s. That shit wasn't even in color. That shit wasn't even, shoot, the Gen Z cats, they don't even remember the original cell phones that came out at the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, when that screen was still kind of, it was in color, but it was mad pixelated. That thing was not clear. Shout out to no Nokia phones. Those Nokia phones. But anyway. So, you know, these young kids, anybody under 25 years old, they won't be able to relate to a time when there was black and white music. But we're going to talk about it. So if any of them come through, because they are adults, we could talk about it. They can learn a little something, and it can kind of show you how far we have come and how far we still need to go. Because it is what it is, and it was what it was, and it will be what it will be. But yeah, I know my mom had a few things to say. My mom wasn't the type of mother that would restrict us from doing anything, but she would shake her head like, You know, thinking back on it, she might have been thinking like, yo, y'all corny. She ain't say it. But I'm not so sure that in her mind, she wasn't like, Because one thing is for sure, she ain't deviate. It was all black music for her. And she was a music connoisseur, but it was all black. My man Troy Diesel just came through. What up, my brother? Good to see me some you. I know Troy remember the black music versus white music era. That shit was real. It was real, son. It was very, very real. But yeah, y'all be making me remember shit that I forgot. Yeah, my mom looking at us sideways like, okay. But when my sister went away to college in 1980, yeah, Shell graduated high school in 1980, and she went to Lincoln, HBCU. But there were cats in Lincoln listening to rock music because she came home buying Devo albums. Wait, was it Devo? Wait a minute, let me get it right. Was it Devo? Who sung that song Cars? When I'm in my car, I can never go wrong. In Cars. And it was like the beginning of the electronic music era, whatever. But I remember she came home listening to that shit. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, because I was only 10. I'm like, that's what y'all listening to up in Lincoln? Gary Newman, yeah. She was listening to Gary Newman and others. So, and you know, there were certain white artists that snuck into the R&B, funk, soul sphere that we listened to. Like, there were certain songs that were on the fence. Like, do you want to get funky with me? Do you want to dun dun dun? Now, I don't know what it was about the 70s, but for some reason, a lot of pop culture surrounded the devil. They was always talking about something dealing with the devil or being possessed in the 80s. I mean, in the 70s.
You have a call from.
All right, hold on a minute, my brother. Hold on a minute. But yeah, in the 70s, for some reason, they was always making songs and movies about the devil. If I had a nickel for every movie that came out about somebody being possessed by the devil in the 80s, you know, you had The Omen, you had blaxploitation movies like Abby. I don't know, it was always some shit about the devil. Even there was a movie called The Car, and the car was possessed by the devil. The car. It's like a Rolls Royce or some shit like that. And but yeah, that song, Do You Want to Get Funky With Me? He was talking about something dealing with the devil. You know what I'm saying? Even the Jackson 5, or Michael Jackson talked about something with the devil. And what song was that? All I know is that in the 70s, they was always talking about the devil. You know what I mean? Yeah, there was a whole lot of songs talking about the devil. It must have been some type of awakening, some type of, I don't know, some spiritual awakening or renaissance going on, you know, challenging morality or spirituality or something. There was something going on in the 70s, but you know, flip to the 80s, things started to calm down a little bit. It was all right to praise the Lord again. You know what I mean? The 70s, they was bucking. They was, I don't know. They was. Let's get it popping. My man Troy Diesel is in the house. What's going on, my dude? Man, I'm feeling
nothing much. What's going on with you, bro?
Feeling like a real man should all day, every day. You already know, no days off.
Yeah, most definitely, man. What's going on, live stream family? It's music night. I got theme song. Music night. It's music night.
All right. I'm gonna take that. Yeah. You giving us a jingle? I'll take it. Oh man. So what do you think about this topic immediately? Like what are the first thoughts that come to your mind when we start talking about this topic? Black music versus white music.
Black and white music. It was refreshing to me. It was a refreshing thing. You know, it wasn't to me. How can I put it, man? Because you know, I remember when they played black and white music on the same radio station, and it wasn't no separate shit, no separate genres when it came to radio. You know what I mean? Like, how can I put it, man? It it made me feel like there wasn't no racism.
What
You know
station
what I mean?
did
When it came to listening to music, because I didn't have to separate R&B and white music. It was just music to me.
Oh, okay. So you didn't really buy into the black music versus white music thing.
No, I never did. I never did because
Oh.
cause some white music was just as relevant to me as as all the black music that was relevant to me. Like you sit back and you listen to a damn a love song from how can I put it? Anything? You listen to a love song from the Jackson Five, or you listen to a love song from the Commodores, or any a Stevie Wonder love song, and then you turn back around, you hear something from Chicago.
Okay.
You know, you hear something from Chicago, you hear something from Pat Benatar, you hear something, from David Bowie, or you hear something. I mean, Billy Joel, John Cougar before the Mellencamp. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at the end of the day, all that music that was out there like that, man, was so fucking refreshing, and separating it. It didn't mean much to me because I went to Greenfield, so it was a diverse school. So you had the girls that was walking around with the looking like Pat Benatar and everything and all that. You had the girls walking around dressed like Hart and everything. So you really didn't separate it, but you also had your own culture within yourself too. I was a Elton John fan. I still am to some point. Walk around singing Philadelphia Freedom, and I don't care what anybody say. I know we have a Mississippi. Philadelphia. That don't mean shit. It's Philadelphia Freedom, the Philadelphia PA.
Now hold on.
You know what I mean?
Now just because you appreciated both sides doesn't mean that it takes away from what it was, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. But you got to realize something. When you're a kid, you just want to. When you're a kid and you're going to becoming a teenager, you just don't really. You don't think of it. I know I didn't. I don't know how my brothers was different from me. My older brother, fuck him, but my older brother, he was just R&B. My middle brother, he was just R&B and with a mixture of gospel. My sister was just R&B. I was the only diverse one.
Okay, but
you know what I mean?
this is what
out of all of them, I was the diverse one.
What I'm asking you is this. So you never heard anybody describe rock music as white music?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
I've heard it. No, I'm not saying I haven't heard it, but I just never, when people say it, I never even really just fed into it as a kid. And then as you start getting older, that's when you start really, understand, thinking about what people were saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But as a kid going and becoming a teenager, I never really thought about, black and white music.
Okay. I don't know. To me, it was always really a thing. But that didn't stop me from listening to one or the other. You know what I'm saying? But it existed because, okay, you look at like the white kids now, how it's so cool for them to like hip hop and to be in that. In the 80s, they wasn't doing none of that.
No, they wasn't.
You ain't have no white kids that knew the words to no Run DMC or no rap music. That rap music, hip hop was a straight black thing. Now you did have some white people that listened to rap music, but that was like they was like one speck of pepper in a sea of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. I mean, but at the same time, you can never calculate exactly how many, because when you look at the contribution, hold on. But when you see the impact that Rick Rubin had on hip hop, with the creation of Def Jam and discovering LL and that sound, that Def Jam sound, the original Def Jam sound that he pretty much created with the guitar and the hard beats, with the Beastie Boys, with LL first, and then the Beastie Boys after that, Davey DMX and whoever he could get to fit into that production style. So, you know, you can't undermine their contribution, but there's no denying that they were outliers. They were going against the grain. You know what I'm saying? And even they put the white in the rap. they said, well, look, let's take this white shit and then we'll put it with the black shit. Ain't it dope? And it was. But we knew what was going on. There was no denying what was happening there. And I think that the 80s bred the type of atmosphere for it to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So bunch of white kids listening to rap music, not going to happen. It wasn't.
Well, I was just telling you to switch around what you said. A speck of black pepper and a sea of salt. I think you could write to say a sea of black pepper and a speck of salt.
Well, see, but here's the thing. The reason I said it the other way is because you will see a black speck if it's all white. You're not going to see that white speck if it's all black. You
you learn something new all day.
Yeah, I thought about this before. I thought about it before I said it. You know, so the analogy still applies.
I agree with what you said. You know about how Rick Rubin, because they did. If you like, when you listen to and honestly, a lot of rap groups followed the Rick Rubin formula. If you listen to Criminal Minded's first album, KRS, KRS-One. The Boogie Down Productions' first album, you can see a lot. You hear a lot of rock, in that album.
They did.
You know what I mean? Even with the song "Criminal Minded," when he go, "Boogie Down Productions,
right?
We'll always get paid." Pretty much, that's "Hey Jude."
No, "Hey Jude." "Hey Jude" copied off of "Criminal Minded." I never knew that shit.
Yeah.
The Beatles bit Criminal Minded.
No, you mean Criminal Minded.
Yeah. That's right. The Beatles went and bit KRS-One and made a song out of it instead of a rap song. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, look at this shit. He should have sued her. He should have sued their ass. But KRS.
You know what I mean? And then you got I got a dope beat, because you had the rock version. I got a dope beat.
That was AC/DC. That was AC/DC.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they followed the Rick Rubin formula, and it worked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The only person that didn't follow the Rick Rubin formula when they came out was Eric B. and Rakim. And I'm glad that I'm glad Run DMC came out, because if Run DMC didn't come out, everybody would have been dressed like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Well, you got to consider the Rick Rubin era pretty much stopped after he left Def Jam. So we can give him from about 84 to about 87, and then people weren't making records like that no more. So the rock was starting to come out of the hip hop, and because the sampling was becoming popular, and we didn't need the guitar no more. We take these funky drummer James Brown beats and whatever, and now we got a whole new shit. You know what I mean? So but the black music versus white music era is funny, because like even some millennials may not remember this as it was. Like it wasn't even just a black music versus white music thing. Everything was segregated when we was coming up. The way that black people dressed and the way that white people dressed was totally different. I look at this shit now, and I see white dudes blinging, and some of them with their pants hanging off their ass, and you know what I mean, shaping up their beards, and I'm like, what the, huh? And they're not even the trying to act black. You know what I mean? They are fully white, but a lot of the barriers have fallen down about as far as the segregation in our pop culture. So,
Right.
and I think the internet probably has a lot to do with that. But nonetheless, it's probably hard for a lot of anybody under 25, maybe even under 30. They probably don't remember as well how it used to be. Because if you were born in 1990, which would make you either 34 or 35, depending on when your birthday is, you know, things were starting to fuse together and become less segregated. And so you may not remember when everything was literally black and white. You know what I mean? It wasn't even no Latinos. That wasn't a word. You know what I mean? What is a Latino? And speaking of Latino, I'm so glad they got rid of that whack ass shit trying to call them Latinx. Even they wasn't going for that shit. Like, yo, nah, dog. We ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. First we was Hispanics, then we was Latinos. All right, cool. But y'all want to take away the gender and like, what the hell's a Latinx? Like, the fuck out of here. And you know that died in the water. They don't even say that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is dead. Like it never happened. Like Latinx. No, I don't know. That was an experiment.
That's the truth. That's the truth, man. But I mean, shit. I mean, back in the day, like, what was the good times of music with black versus white music you get?
Okay, now
what era? Like,
wait. Finish the question.
Like, what era did you like? Like, let's just say black and white music together. What was the best era for black and white music to you?
Okay. During the black music versus white era, I probably like the 70s the best, even though I was more active with it in the in the 80s. Because in the 90s, I went back to the segregation. I didn't like actually after 85, I didn't listen to any white music anymore. You know what I mean? I still knew a lot because I listened to so much of. I was so much into rock music before. Like in the 70s, I remember I was in third and fourth grade, and like my friends, we used to listen to Kiss. We had the action figure. Well, they had the action figures. My mom would not buy me anything that looked like a doll. She bought me a $6 million man doll before, and that was it. My mom ain't play that. She was like, I was like, well, can I get a G.I. Joe? She was like, no. Why? Why?
G.I. She said G.I. No.
I mean, she was dead serious. The only reason she bought the $6 million man, because it had the little, bionic eye and all of that, and she knew about the TV show. All that other shit. She used to buy me Army Men, but notice they was all posed with the guns and shit like that. Yeah. And she used to buy me guns.
I got the action figures.
Right. Like, I'm surprised I ain't some kind of Machine Gun Kelly type. You know what I mean? My mom used to buy me mad guns. After a while, she stopped buying them because they was too loud. So she kept trying to buy me the silent guns. Literally. That was her plan. Like, oh, he making all the noise, these goddamn cap guns and all that. Yeah. She started buying me rifles with the fake shell. But anyway, like, I think the 70s. Yeah, because the 70s you had funk, you had soul, R&B, whatever, and you had disco, and you also had a lot of rock, and you also had a lot of folk music. You know what I mean? Like you had Bob Dylan. That type, you had even though
Mamas and the Papas, you had Jefferson Starship. It was a lot of
ABBA,
Queen.
You know what I mean? Queen was rock though to me. They was always rock. But I'm talking about like the folk, the Carpenters. You had that type shit.
I'm gonna tell you something from the door, bro. I'm a big Carpenter fan, man.
That's why the 70s was my favorite era as
big
far as the
Carpenter
black
fan,
music
man.
versus white music era. But the thing about the 70s is I was so young that I didn't have the access to really explore. You understand what I mean? You're like,
Yeah.
all I had was the radio, and when my mom would take me to the record store, and I couldn't buy a lot of records because I didn't have a lot of money. So, I didn't even know to listen
You
to.
buy records in the 70s?
I bought my first record at 7 years old. I wanted this because I grew up around so much music. My God family that lived across the street, like they listened to funk and all that kind of stuff that we didn't have at my crib. My mom bought a lot of records, but they listened to like the harder shit. You know what I mean? Like, like, yeah, like the deep acid funk. You know what I'm saying? They had that kind of shit. My sisters and all, they was listening to the light funk, the regular funk. You know what I mean? The Parliament and the funk. My God family, they was listening to funk. I didn't know their names. I had to look them. So he had this record. I can't remember the name of this record, but every time I went over their house, I would ask my god brother, "Can you play that record again?" And he used to get sick of me and sick of me. I'd be like, "Listen, I want to hear that record." So I told my mom that I wanted to go to the record store and get that record because I was tired of bothering John about let me hear the record. I need to have my own record. So she was like, "Okay." So she took me up on Shelton Avenue. It was this little record store on just before the corner of it was on Shelton Avenue, just before you get to Germantown Avenue, and it was a shitty ass record store. He didn't have the record, and the other record that I wanted as an alternative, he didn't have that either. So my mom in there, she listening to all the records. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" And then she started. I saved my money for this shit. So, I ain't want to keep bothering her like, "Mom, I need to get that record." For some reason, I wasn't persistent like that as a kid, even though sometimes I was. But so I didn't want to leave the record store empty handed. So I remember the first record I ever bought was "I Wonder Why He's the Greatest Dancer." And I ain't want that fucking record.
That was my shit, Sister Fred.
I was salty as shit. I was like, I bought that and another record I can't even remember. It was 245s I bought. And I took them home and I played them and I was like.
One of my first, I'm going to tell you the first 45 I ever bought, son. You're going to be shocked, man. First 45 I ever bought was Uptown Girl by Billy Joel.
Okay.
That was the first 45 I ever bought, man.
Okay. Hey. To each his own.
That was one of the first 45s I ever bought, man.
Listen,
all the other music you can hear you hear all your music. My brother was a DJ, so he played all the music in the basement all the fucking time. So I knew all about every song. And my mom kept DAS on, and on the Sundays you had Louise Williams, so you knew all about gospel and all that other stuff. Along with my sister, and I'm the youngest, so when I did, and then my first record I ever bought was the first record, and this was not just because of the record, it was the album cover too, and that was the Mary Jane Girls.
Okay, all right, hold on, this dude, hold on, look in the chat. This dude, Bastard Judge, talking about some, as a black person, every research, white people are the ones that create.
Already read it, bro.
What is he talking? This is crazy. And you can find claims over 100 years old, white people singing with classical music sounds just like rap, because it is. Then how come Satchmo was considered to be the first lyricist? He was supposed to be like the Rakim of the jazz.
We know that's a troll, bro.
Yeah,
we know that's a troll.
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
I mean, at least he ain't talking about people sucking penis and kissing and eating ass and stuff. Like he be doing like they just come on the line and say, but that was just nothing but a troll.
Yeah, but stay tuned. He said white man taught us how to sing, dance, and play the instruments. So obviously all the music came from them. Thank you. Thank you. I don't even think the white man invented the banjo.
Every instrument came from Africa. Every instrument came from Africa.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Almost every instrument came from Africa and was reinvented in the United States by a black man. That's my feeling.
All right. Well, look. Regardless,
that's my opinion. Now, I don't know about all that. That's just my opinion.
This is what I do know. Ain't no white man invent no goddamn hip hop. That's what I know. Goddamn. I might not know much, but I know this one little historical fact. That shit he talk about is ridiculous. But okay, so yeah. Bought
my favorite era was the 80s because at least at that point in time I understood. You know, there was the music was out there now. You know, disco was over, but I still like some disco songs. You know what I mean? You know, then you turn back around and you start really listening to, and then you had dancing on there. And you had certain shows that would play. You really got into the Friday night videos, and the videos came out then. So you really was influenced by not just the music, but the videos also brought in there. You had Huey Lewis in the news. You had Hart, even though they was part of the 70s, but you had them coming out. You had all these the Police. You know what I mean? So it was so much fucking good music coming out at the time that you'd be like, damn. You know, so all our music was just tremendous, man. So but when you start listening to white music, it was like, I don't believe I'm listening to this shit. And then when you play it around your brothers and sisters, they get mad.
Well, it was actually my sister that introduced me to white music because she was going in. She was going in. You know what I mean? So when she started listening, you know, the pop era, whatever, she was listening to WCAU. That was a local radio. That was a local pop station in Philadelphia.
That was
for those
right
of y'all.
there.
Yeah. So she discovered that for us. And I was like, yo, what is this shit you listening to? I remember literally thinking that because I didn't curse at that time. But I was thinking, what is this music you listen to? Nobody want to hear this. But then, you know what I mean? She pulled me in. 3 years later, she started listening to classic rock and the rock of that time, pulled me into that too. But, you know, yeah, so really, I followed her a lot begrudgingly and definitely with resistance, but she broke me down every time. That was my big sister. And, you know, but the music she was listening to was good. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't that hard to get into once you start listening to it. Okay.
You had every right to get into it.
But I gotta give it to her because amongst her, I'll give it to her. Like a lot of people would have crumbled under peer pressure. She didn't do that shit. So all of her girlfriends, she got all of them into that shit. That shit was crazy. These were straight hood rat chicks. You know what I mean? You know, none of them was. Her crew, they wasn't. None of them was bums. None of them was. Well, I ain't gonna say none of them was hoes, because you gotta have some hoes. But they wasn't. None of them was bad girls. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't out there like that or whatever. But yeah, they was more into the black music thing and the black culture thing. And I'm talking about regular black culture. I'm not talking about no dashikis and, you know what I mean? None of that African shit. You know what I mean? This is before consciousness. This was just regular black people. You know what I mean? Jeans, boots, you know, shit like that. But yeah, she was listening to that shit. And even they was looking at her like, Dita didn't give a fuck. She made them do it. And they did it. Like, this shit was all right. So they still did the black music thing, but when it came to her, they knew that it was going to be a mix.
But I guarantee you one thing. I guarantee you, any of her girlfriends coming around right now, and even when they have a discussion, they tell her, "I appreciate you introducing me to that genre of music."
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah. Everybody.
I'm gonna tell you
After the huddle,
to that type of music, man. Punishment. Because when I couldn't look at TV because I got a bad grade on the test or something, my grandmother, my grandfather, because at one point I was staying at their house, they just said you can listen to music, and that was it.
Okay, well,
and punishment.
Well, at least you could, listen to music.
Yeah.
Shit,
Duran, all of them. Yeah, all them groups, man. And I hated Duran. I liked them, but I hated them.
Nah, they was dope.
Yeah, I just hated because all. I went to, like I said, I went to Greenfield, so that's all you heard. And then you seen all the people dressing like them, and then it's like, God damn.
You know what's funny? Because I went to Henry School, and they was heavy. It was definitely Henry was crazy because it was right there in West Mount Airy, not East Mount Airy, West Mount Airy, with all the trees and the Fairmount Park and all the well-to-do Jews and shit, the big houses and all of that. But they never really seemed to be deep into anything that I could define. It was just a bunch of smart ass kids, nerdy, on their way to Girls High and Temple. But I didn't see them really be expressive in musically or nothing like that. None of them do I remember being like that. And I'm like, but meanwhile, it was the black girls that wanted to be white, running around here, with the denim jackets with the patches on it and singing the song.
The plastic, the rubber bracelets. Remember the rubber bracelets they used to wear?
Man, okay. So in 83, 83 or 84, they took me to, I'm trying to figure out, how did I wind up at South Street with them? But somehow I did. And they took me to Zipperheads, and that's where I was like, what the fuck is this? They had all the spikes and all that old crazy, all of that shit, for those of y'all who don't know.
Fake poop and all that stuff you can buy.
Yeah. Zipperheads was a novelty store, like a novelty head shop back in the 80s, and it used to be on South Street when South Street was South Street, when South Street was the place to be, day or night, daytime or night. Yeah, it wasn't, I won't even talk about this shit now. But yeah, so they took me there, and I was like, they into spikes and piercings and all this old shit. You know what I mean? She was a black girl who had nice hair, but she didn't comb it because she was, she wore it like comb back on the sides. And that 80s shit, you know what I mean? Coming forward in the front and pull, comb back on the sides and all that shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
you have a call from.
Yeah, but she was heavily into the white side. Heavy. To this day. Now I'll give it to her because she's still around. We may or may not still be friends on Facebook, but she stayed true to the game. But yeah, the black music versus white music, black everything versus white everything. Like I said, a lot of black people and white people mimic each other now through hip hop, through the internet, and all that kind of shit. It wasn't like that in no 80s. It wasn't like that in no 90s. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that.
And then it got to the point where our people tried to not mimic them, but tried to get crossover appeal, like Lionel Richie with Dancing on the Ceiling and all that other, and All Night Long and stuff like that to get that crossover appeal. So they somewhat tried to just sugar their R&B down to make it more listenable to other cultures.
Well, crossover means white.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that then.
Because that's what it means. You ain't nobody crosses over when white artists, start doing black shit. They don't call that shit crossover. They don't call it. You ain't never hear them call the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC crossover. Like, no, that ain't what we doing.
The part is that they play NSYNC on R&B stations.
New Kids on the Block.
Oh, I hated them bastards.
Man, I ain't fuck with none of that bullshit.
I ain't like none. I ain't like nothing about my one time my 12 came over to me. He said, "Dad, you ever heard of this song?" And he played it, and it was the Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way. I said, "What the fuck?" And he started singing it. I said, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
it was funny as hell. I was like, "Yeah, I heard that before. It's a nice song." So,
listen, yeah, caller with the last number is 5639. Whoever you may be, welcome to the Daily Go Get 'Em Business Show. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for holding. What's good?
What's up?
Wait a minute, I recognize his voice.
is this who I think it is? The last time I heard this voice, she was laughing. Both of y'all was laughing so hard. I thought y'all was crying tears from that joke you said, son.
Did I hear you say your favorite artist was Billy Ocean? Did I hear you say that?
You ain't hear it tonight.
I think Troy said it. I heard him say something about Billy.
You'll never hear that come out of my mouth. I'll take Billy Idol over Billy Ocean. I would take Billy Idol over Billy Ocean. Shit.
Damn right. Billy Ocean's the dude. In the love zone, you don't have to be alone.
Cut his mic off.
You gonna turn my mic off.
Cut that shit the fuck off. I gotta get. I'm
so glad you called in before Gavin. That's all we need to hear is another story from him. All you need to hear is another story from Gavin.
We're not talking about Gavin tonight. Hey, Gavin.
We love you, Gavin, but man, we don't. After that other night, we don't need another story from you, Gavin.
I had to tell everybody about that. They were like, "What's wrong with you? What's that crazy?"
I think I heard enough about urination for the rest of the year.
I feel like maybe Gavin was having a night where he had a little bit too much to drink or something. Maybe that's what that was. Top it up to that and give him a...
Yeah, but I mean, I just wanted to... So I'm going to let you speak right now, Kim. I don't want to jump in and, you throw your first profanity out at me, so go ahead.
I don't even understand what you're saying with that. But anyway, so this black and white thing, I don't know what you guys are talking about because I listen, but I was in meetings, so I can hear all of it. But I did hear Son say something about there was a difference. And yes, it was. However, from where I'm from, it wasn't a huge difference. So like, Madonna was popular one time, and you saw everybody dressing like Madonna and listening to Material Girl, Black or White or whatever.
That's what they did. That's what they did around your way. They mimicked Madonna around your way.
They did.
Oh, okay. Now we ain't had no Madonnas.
Well, you didn't have no Madonna.
Well, we might have we listened to plenty of Madonna, but we ain't dressed like no Madonna.
I went to two mixed schools. I went to Durham on Lombard Street, and I went to Greenfield. So when Madonna kicked in and everything, that was it. Everybody, even black people that I knew, was even trying to dress and look like Madonna.
Look, I went to school with white people my whole life, so that's why I'm sure of the difference. There was a clear line drawn in the sand. Clear. You know what I mean? We didn't tell them to stop acting white. They didn't tell us to stop acting black. We had to understand it. But no, the black girls did not drop. I didn't know nobody around my way. And you got to understand, I went to a different school every 2 years. until I got to college, I never went to a school for 4 years. So I got a sample size big as fuck. That's why I know so many different parts of the city and so many people in different parts of the city. Because I was always jumping around for whatever reason. We can get into that much later.
Well, I already know the reason. We know the reason, but let's keep talking.
But actually, no, you don't know the reason. But anyway, but yeah. So, you know, like I was sure of this whole black music versus white music, black dressing versus black. We had black haircuts versus white haircuts. We don't even have that no more.
You better not have that.
These white dudes getting fades and shit. They wasn't doing no shit. Come on, man. Come on. And we was in high school. They was rocking that moose can. They was moosing the shit out.
That on the mullet.
Definitely.
I didn't see that. I did not see mullets in any school. Even when I went to Catholic school, I didn't see mullets at all.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Maybe you went to a black Catholic school.
Nope.
Because we definitely had those.
Did you see any shags?
Nope, I don't remember that either.
You know what a shag is, don't you?
Yes, I know what a shag is, Troy. It's a hairstyle you still rock now behind closed doors in your room by yourself. I know what a shag is.
I never had. I mean, I always thought that was. Every time I seen a boy with a shag, I thought that was just fat in the back of their neck because they didn't be too fat off.
A shag was an old ass haircut. I had a shag when I was like 8.
I would never get a shag.
8 or 9 years old.
The only thing I always wanted, only thing as a child I always wanted was a fade. And my mom always just said, when you got your own fucking money, then you get your own type of haircut. Cut that shit off.
What did you get, a chili bowl or something?
Huh?
What would you get, a chili bowl?
Right now.
No, my mom was paying for my haircut. She gave me a hustler. A bald head. My mom was like, cut that shit off. That's all. That was her favorite line. At one point, I thought she was just gonna put that on a t-shirt and give me the money to go to the barbershop. Cut that shit off.
But anyway, let's stay focused.
So let's get back to this mixed music thing.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe in junior high. Well, in junior high was a Catholic school, so there was a mix always of everything. I'm just thinking. Maybe because it was a small Catholic school, so it wasn't a big mix of people for us to be segregated when it came to music. I guess. I don't know. And even in high school,
Hello?
they tried to make a difference. The low level, everybody was listening to the same thing back and forth. For example,
Say it again.
we all listen to Culture Club. We all listen to the Eurythmics. And because of where I'm from, we all were singing Little Pink Houses by John Cougar Mellencamp. So,
and that's the problem right there. That's the problem. We don't call him Mellencamp no more. I still stick with the Cougar.
Well, you can't.
Cougar. We never gonna take off we never gonna add Mellencamp.
Well, Mellencamp is his actual name, though.
We're not doing it.
So
I know that's his actual name, but at the end of the day, his best music came as John Cougar.
But it's his hometown.
The first album
was beautiful.
Her so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should.
Go the fuck in, son. Let me tell you
a little ditty about Jack and Diane.
Kids growing up in the heartland.
Oh my God, boy.
Oh yeah.
That was the shit. And then somebody
nobody can hear
Adams.
Keep talking.
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams.
Summer of '69. Oh my fucking stars, man. Summer of fucking '69. I be in the house sometimes. I just play the video on YouTube.
Bryan Adams.
And fake air guitar, man. That's my motherfucking shit, man. Bryan Adams, boy.
I'm gonna tell you what else we were listening to. Shout, shout, let it all
Now
out.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm glad you brought up that Tears for Fears song, because Shout. First of all, they had a regular version, and then they had a long version of Shout.
Mm-hmm.
And the long version, I'm not sure if that was a black song or a white song.
Mm-hmm.
Because that song was getting played. That shit was getting spins on black radio.
Well, a lot of Tears for Fears songs was getting played on black radio.
Because they had that heavy drum beat, like on some hip hop shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Everybody wants to rule the world. Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
Oh,
My favorite fucking song from them is I Wanted to Be With You Alone.
Oh, heck yeah.
That fucking intro.
You said in the beginning, all the other people be quiet.
Yeah. They definitely sampled that. All right, so hold on. Let's do that then. All right, let's do some songs that may have been created by white artists, and maybe they were white songs that had black appeal.
Definitely.
So, all right, so I'll take the Shout. Definitely Let's Dance by David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when George Michael came along.
So Careless Whisper.
Now, see, ballads.
That was Wayne.
Yeah, but ballads sneak and go wherever the fuck they want to go. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, a slow song. I mean, it's hard to say whether that's black or white. It's a ballad.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that Keith Sweat got mad as shit at the Grammys before because you heard about what happened, right?
Keith Sweat wasn't beating that song. I'm sorry. he was too new. He wasn't going to beat that.
They got nominated in an R&B category with Careless Whispers and beat Keith Sweat.
I mean, you could argue that it was an R&B song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It had all the ingredients. Well, and it was probably because he's English. And in the English, they love classic soul so much, that's what they did. So you probably had some Culture Club songs that could be played on black radio.
I love Culture Club. Shit, Jimmy Tom was played on DAS before when I was a kid. I was a big Culture Club fan too. You couldn't tell your boys that. Yo, you listen to Culture Club?
Hold on, why not?
Hey, I grew up with some boys that didn't know nothing about Culture Club.
Hold on. I mean, I understand that. I thought you meant because Boy George. Well, I mean, but Prince running around here getting away with wearing heels. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
But Prince is the type of person that can go shopping at Lane Bryant and take your girl with her outfit on.
Like I said,
for as many shopping in a Lane Bryant, shopping in the kids department. Are you kidding me?
For as many, I know some Lane Bryant. Hey, shit, he can fit no goddamn Lane. He couldn't fit a scarf in Lane Bryant.
Yeah, fucking Prince was that dude, boy. Did you happen to sit down and listen to Darling Nikki again?
Let me put my list out.
Hold on. What I'm trying to say is, you can't excuse Prince running around with high heels his whole career and then say Boy George is suspect. Like, I mean, Boy George is openly gay. However, you know what I mean? Openly sus versus openly gay. What, huh?
I'm never gonna say. I don't think Prince was gay, man.
I'm not. I said openly sus. He
I don't
went. I don't think he was.
openly sus.
I mean, okay.
Word.
I can't. I'm not gonna say that.
So he got heels. He got girl high heels. He got girl. Wait. He got female high heels on his whole career. Cut his jeans out. Actually mimicked the woman on many of his 12-inch singles with the ass out, with cut out in the jeans and all that kind of shit. And you saying he wasn't openly sus?
No.
Okay. Then ain't nobody sus then.
He was bi.
Well, sus. Well, you got sus means suspect, which means that you have characteristics. It doesn't mean that you are definitely gay. That's why they say it's sus. Like you got all the ingredients. It just ain't cooking up right. You sus.
You got all the ingredients, but it just ain't cooked up right.
Hey, you know, just because you got all the right seasonings don't mean you can cook. I mean, you might want to open up a cookbook and get a measuring cup. This shit nasty as hell. But I see what you was trying to do. Ain't no doubt about that. But ain't no way you gonna tell me. Look, I'm tired. I've been tired of people giving Prince a pass for 40 years. I'm like, yo, so he can't just be fruity. You know what I mean?
No, he had too many banging bitches he's knocking off.
And that's what sus niggas do. They always keep a girl. A fly joint too. You know what I mean? Shit. That's part of the sus. Like they sus because you trying to figure out, like, wait a minute. Regular straight niggas don't do that. But he got all the bitch. But yeah. So yeah, he was openly sus. But
somebody said Prince was more of a man and talented than Diddy and Michael Jackson.
Well, you know, I say like this. If Prince wasn't Prince, if Prince didn't make music, what would Prince be to y'all?
Be an NBA player.
Fuck out of here.
Because you heard all the things about him playing basketball.
You ever see him play basketball?
No, but I've heard Kevin Garnett talk about it.
I don't care what, but like I said, did you ever see it?
No,
we've heard a lot of stories, but did you see
a lot of stories?
First of all, he wouldn't be able to get on the court because you can't wear heels on the court.
Can you imagine?
You can't wear hard bottom shoes on the basketball court. It's against the rules. So, but fuck all that. Anyway, get back.
Where the list at?
Are you finished with your list, son?
What's the list? Songs that could be played. That was white songs that could be played on black radio.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, do yours, and I still got I got homework to do.
Toto in Africa.
Yeah. You're right about that.
The Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I guess that was.
And Michael McDonald.
Oh yeah, Michael McDonald.
Now I know this is not his song by himself, but Yamo Be There with James Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't no white music.
But it was Michael McDonald.
Oh yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, all right. I wasn't thinking about it in that way. Okay. All right, Hall & Oates.
And then I add a follow-up. Hall & Oates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say about Hall & Oates.
She was going to steal your shit, son.
It's all right. You heard it here first. So good.
What I feel. What I said, tell me what I saw.
All right, just go ahead. Go ahead. What
That's
else?
it. That's my list.
All
I
right.
had my 3 and my 1 for good luck.
All right. So I said David Bowie, definitely Let's Dance, and he had other songs that definitely got played on black radio. Hall and Notes, they became more rockish in the 80s, but they really started off R&B. You know what I mean? You know, but Madonna had a lot of songs that got played on black radio. A lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like a Virgin got played on black radio. Don't ask me how, but it did. It was a very popular song. And and she had a few.
Borderline when she first came out from Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
That was played on black radio.
Holiday did get played on black radio.
Especially Holiday.
Yeah. I didn't hear Borderline, but I definitely heard Holiday. And Papa Don't Preach. She had a few joints. Madonna definitely had a few joints. Foreigner, I Want to Know What Love Is got played on black radio. And I think it was because of that gospel type of feel that it had to it.
Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love?
Bee Gees was black music.
Come on, the Bubble Guts?
What? No, Brandon Graham, goddamn.
Brandon Graham.
But I consider the Bee Gees was disco, but they was more on the R&B side, if you ask me. You know, they didn't have no rock songs. Listen to Staying Alive. Staying Alive wasn't no rock song. That was funky.
Some of that
was funky.
Black. Some of it can be considered black or adult contemporary.
C. Moody said Average White Band, but Average White Band was a funk band. They wasn't no. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you, Rwanda said Toto, and Toto was played on black radio.
I said Toto, that was my first one. Toto Africa. What are you saying?
She definitely said.
Toto Africa, but it wasn't so much Toto Africa that was played on there. It was Georgie Porgy that was played on there.
We heard Africa.
A lot of people didn't know Toto sung Georgie Porgy, and the woman that was singing "Kiss the Girl That Made It Cry" was Cheryl Lynn.
No, because MC Light came out with Georgie Porgy. That was her song, and then the boy that used to go with Halle Berry, then he came out with it.
Him and Faith.
What? Everybody. What? Everybody.
I got one. Phil Collins.
The Police and Every Breath You Take.
Definitely,
Phil Collins, with especially Phil Collins with Philadelphia, Easy Lovin'.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who else?
The Police and Every Breath You Take.
No.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. I'm not sure about that.
The one when he's in the video with the candle. Sting is in the video with the candle.
You talking about
Roxanne?
No.
No, that's not it.
Well, that's what Eddie Murphy was singing in 48 Hours.
Around your finger.
I'll be
around your finger.
Yep, that's the one.
They ain't play that on no black radio.
They didn't play that on black radio.
Here they did.
They played that on black radio there?
Yes.
You sure y'all had black radio?
Yes, we do.
Fucking around. Fucking around. Hold on. Troy. They fucking around. Yes, he got mulatto radio.
Say it again.
Today on mulatto radio. We
Stop. We did. I mean, it just depends on what time of day. In the morning, in the daytime, they did play a variety. After 5 and 6, it kind of changed a little bit. Then, of course, after midnight, it really changed. until some dumbass went and played gospel in the middle of the late night music show. 1 minute you're hearing, I want to freak you up and down, and next thing you know, Yolanda Adams comes on. It's like, oh,
he was just playing his playlist.
The DJ fall asleep or something? What the hell are you doing?
Okay. All right. Let me ask y'all this. And this is for the people in the chat too. By the way, let me shout out some people in the chat verbally. Matt N, Bill Desmet, Crispy Bacon, Vita. What up, Vita? It's good. Christopher Jackson. Let me see. C Moody, Gavin. Varshay McDonald, I ain't see you. What's good? Satan or Satan. Didn't y'all say? Oh, Bwana. I ain't see you. I'm crushed in between some folks. What's good, my peoples? Just want to say what's up to all y'all. X-Ray Koala. Thanks everybody for coming through. Let me ask y'all this. Really sticking to the topic right now. What do y'all think was the reason that music was so segregated before the 2000s? Because it started to be more integrated toward in the 90s and going towards the 2000s. And by the 2000s, a lot of us was doing pretty much the same things, but in the beginning of the 90s and definitely in the 80s and before, there was a clear line in the sand between black culture and white culture. But why do y'all think that existed even in places? Well, what do y'all think? What are y'all thoughts on that? What do y'all think the reason was? And I'll give mine after y'all done.
Unfortunately, when we think about history in and of itself, we aren't that far off the mark, especially when we came into existence. The 70s, 80s, we weren't too far off the mark when segregation was big. Like when you think about grandparents and great-grandparents and some who were sharecroppers, you're like, what? What? Some who were picking cotton, what? That was just how long ago. Just think about the time frame from the stuff with Emmett Till. That wasn't as long ago as we think it was. So we were still getting some residual of all the racist stuff this country has ever offered. So we were still in that. It was coming to, God, I don't want to say an end because it's never ended. But it was coming to a place where it wasn't so prevalent at the time. Like I remember we were the first black kids, the first kids in the neighborhood to be bused out to a township school. So I think that plays a huge part in the reason why in that time frame that there was still a lot of segregation with music. Because even then, for the people who were white who listened to the music that was deemed as black, they were still kind of shy about enjoying it publicly. They still hid the fact that they liked the music, the dancing, and even though they had American Bandstand and we had Soul Train, they wanted to watch Soul Train and be on Soul Train. And I think that has a big deal to do with it too. Although Soul Train was a little more open to allowing everyone on there without any kind of strings attached. American Bandstand, yeah, they let some black people on it, but they were very specific to who. Where Don Cornelius was like, shoot, they got a vibe, come on here. And watch these people find a way to dance to whatever you bring. Soul Train was happening, it was popping. American Bandstand was still white America. Whereas Soul Train was get down, get funky, and everybody get with it. So it was still that split right there because you heard a different feel with American Bandstand than you did with Soul Train. And I think that made a big difference. Plus, everybody based the music feeling on what Bandstand had going on.
Okay.
Even though we had Detroit, even though we had Motown, even though we had all of the record companies coming out with blended sound, with blended artists, we still were in that time frame where America was still trying to make up its mind and be like, all right, we're going to let y'all in a little bit, just a tiny bit. I think that's what played a lot in it.
I think that it was more of, I think that it became more diverse. I think that society was more willing to open their ears to other genres of music, and even at the end of the day, it's still kind of, iffish on that change. But, when you sit back and you remember how it was back in the day, it was like, honestly, I think white music always wanted to be part of the culture, of our culture. I think that a lot of white music was more influenced by our culture than their culture was influenced by than our culture was influenced by their culture. I think the diversity, and I think the record companies had to change their tone of how they gonna make money. They couldn't be more to the R&B. They couldn't be more to rock or whatever white music was back then. They had to bring it together. They had to be more diverse if they was willing to make more money. So they had to break that down and break that stigma of how to make that money, and also how to bring music to the masses.
But you're not answering the question. The question was, why was it a black or white thing? Not what brought it out of it. What made it a black and white thing?
Society made it a black or white thing. Society made it a black or white thing.
So you're just gonna give me the simple blanket answer, huh? That's what you're gonna do? You want me to cut your mic off? I cut it off.
Society made it a black or white thing, whereas though in order to affect change, society had to break down the monotony of what it is, of what black and white music is. Us as individuals had to break that down. So I mean, once you break down that and make it more diverse, then at the end of the day, it changes everything. But yeah, I mean, it's still like, even in the 70s, it was still black and white music. But at the end of the day, once it somewhat came together at some point.
Okay. Well, I think that everything was I think musically and everything else was black and white because that's the American way. You know what I mean? It was the American way. And in the 70s, 80s, 70s, 60s, for the most part, most of America wasn't as diverse. You had black neighborhoods, you had white neighborhoods, you had some Hispanic neighborhoods, but you didn't have Hispanics everywhere in the US. Like, only in the last, I would say, somewhere between 20 and 30 years, would you see a population of Mexicans in Philly. We had Puerto Ricans forever, but we ain't had no Mexicans or a large population of any other Hispanics, especially any South Americans and all that didn't exist. But because this country was founded on racism and continued its racist policies, you have to think about a power structure that was going on. It wasn't cool for white people to be on no black shit because that would be like relinquishing their power. And for anybody that doesn't make any sense to, you look at it now. Look at how hard they are trying to hold on to their whiteness and their culture, what they consider to be their culture, and their dominance. They feel it slipping away day by day, but that makes them become even more segregated and try to implement this, more stringent segregationist policies and things like that. But yeah, honestly, I don't think that people had a problem with things being black or white during those times. It was just, it was a familiar meal. It was like, you know, hot dogs and what do they call it? Hot dog. What was it? Hot dogs and beans. What do they call it?
Baked beans.
Yeah, I never like. I never liked baked beans. I never liked them shits. Give me the fucking hot dog, but I'm not eating them fucking beans. I never liked them motherfuckers. To this day, like, no, I want fuck me hot dogs and baked beans. Give me some potato chips or some shit. Anyway, so I ain't never liked them beans. But yeah, it was what we was used to. It was like TV dinners. You know what I mean? Or pomegranates, or Chinese, as we call them, Chinese apples, or somewhere around October and November. You know what I mean? It was what we knew, and we didn't really have a problem with it because you had black music, you had black schools, black neighborhoods, black and white neighborhoods, black and white schools, black and white music, black and white culture, or the way we dressed, the way we talked. Before, remember, you could talk black, and some people still believe that now you talk black, even with all of this hip hop lingo and all of this internet texting shit. But the purists still see it like, yeah, you talk black. Would they say Kamala Harris couldn't talk black?
Mm-hmm.
But then when she was like, you better thank a union member, then all of a sudden she's trying to talk black.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait a minute, hold on.
And then when Hillary Clinton said, I pulled a bottle of hot sauce out of my, now she was too black.
You know what I thought was dumb about that? What I thought was so dumb, corny about that, I was like, so white people don't like hot sauce? Like, who the fuck manufactures this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all ever been down south? This should be hot as fuck. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
In the commercial, a white lady in there, so I put that shit on almost everything.
I can't take it, man. But hey, it was what it was. Now, Troy, you start talking about how we came up out of it. I think that there was no way. Well, one of the reasons, honestly, I think that we started to come up out of everything being so secularized and so segregated and sectioned off, or compartmentalized. I think because honestly, I think the music just started to get better and more appealing to others. And I also would credit a lot of the people, a lot of the artists, as far as music is concerned, a lot of the artists from the UK, they really did a lot to do the crossover move, because white music in the United States was looked at as rock music, but the artists from the UK, they had a lot of soul in their music. So when they came over here, they wasn't singing straight rock music. That's not what they did. And
it was easy for them to get played on R&B radio too, because that's how their music was already influenced by us over across the pond.
Well, even when they came over here, they jammed. Like, look at the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones jammed with all of the blues artists, all of the jazz artists. They would jam with them, so they could get better. So they had that, even though they were rockers, they still had that blues and soul influence in a lot of their songs. So even though let's say you're a white person and you really like the Rolling Stones, when you listen to the Rolling Stones, what are you getting? You have to consider you're getting a lot of blues. You're getting a lot of, same thing with the Beatles, same thing with Led Zeppelin. All of those UK stars, they made sure that they put the soul in the rock. So they was giving you the soul in the rock, even if you ain't noticed. But the American rock groups, that's why the American rock groups sounded so much different than the European rock groups. Because
also, I think they really love the music. They weren't focused on, oh, your skin is black and mine is white. They weren't focused on that. They weren't focused on it. They really love the music. I think they didn't play into the whole racist kind of thing that the United States has to offer anybody else on the planet, because their focus was on the music. They loved the music, the art of the music, and unfortunately, in the United States, that it comes with a price. They didn't just love the music. They loved the music as long as it was from a specific group. And like I said, when they were ready to enjoy something else, they had to sneak and do it. They had to sneak and enjoy Muddy Waters, Little Richard. They had to sneak and enjoy these different artists. Versus in the UK, if they liked them, they liked them, and that was it.
Well,
there was no question about it. There was no thinking. They just played what they liked and what they loved.
Well, yeah. Well, even the smallest R&B or soul singers over here, the groups and stuff, even the rappers, you may not have been shit in the United States. Over there, you was the bomb. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I remember even like Steady B. He was a rap artist from Philly. He wasn't really that big in the United States, but over in Europe, you know what I mean? He was that boy. He was like
serious.
I'm just saying. But when it comes to racism, the white supremacy, the United States has nursed that shit forever. Mm-hmm. In Europe, it's definitely not that they're not racist in Europe, particularly England, but they don't do with it. They don't nurse it the way we do. You know what I mean? They just don't make that time. It's like over there, they're like, well, listen, what's the use in having immigration if we gonna treat this shit if we gonna treat people like shit? It don't make no sense. In the United States, it actually makes sense to them. Yeah, we're going to bring them in, but we're going to treat them like shit. You know what I mean? We're going to even intimidate them and make them think that they're not even supposed to be here. But that's what we do in the United States. We promote racism. We nurse it. We make excuses for it. And when anybody tries to break away from them, we try to ridicule them.
This country is trash, and it's on its way to hell as we speak.
What is?
This country.
Man, you see that big, beautiful bill?
Let's not talk about that, please. I'm so stressed about that. Please, let's not, please.
No, I can make you even more stressed. If you see the first plane load and the first boatload of South African farmers come into the country.
Yeah. I was listening to this boy named Reese Waters. He said,
"Oh, that's my guy. That is my guy."
Hold on.
He is hilarious.
Wait, was it him? I think I just saw some meme. It said the genocide was so bad in South Africa that only 59 people wanted to leave.
God, please, y'all, please. You gotta watch some of his shows.
59 fucking, I wasn't ready.
He is hilarious. And he does not like his tongue. Yeah, please. I had to deal with that shit all yesterday. That's why I just I gotta get on this show tonight, because man. Anyway.
I just like the Rolling Stones. Pretty much one of their number one person. The number one person that was rolling with the Rolling Stones was Billy Preston. He was like not so much the opening that, but he was like part of the. Was it Billy Preston rolling with them, or was he with The Beatles. He was with one of them. I think it was the Rolling Stones, though.
Well, how was he with them? Because he was gay.
Well, go figure.
This Sissy
You
Preston.
just put that out there.
That was
How was he with him? 'Cause he was gay.
Sissy Preston.
He said nothing from nothing, leave nothing. Had to do something.
Leave nothing.
You had to do something. If you want to be me.
You know, I love to say that I was blessed to have the type of family, neighbors, and friends where the music was very diverse. So we were exposed to a lot. For example, my grandmother had a tenant who rented her the upstairs of the house, and he was Hawaiian. So we were introduced to Don Ho, and he'd come and we'd have our family dinners and family get-togethers. And he was part of the family because he still lived in the house. So he and his girlfriend was Asian. And we listened to, Charlie was Hawaiian, she was Asian. So we listened to Don Ho and then whatever music she played, which is always, you know, some kind of, whatever that was.
Don Ho.
Don Ho.
Damn, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that name in a long time.
So we listened to that. We listened to Barry Manilow. We listened to a lot of
Wait, Barry Manilow was dope.
Yeah.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
So we, you know, I think I'm glad that I come from a group of people who just had an ear for a lot of music versus one set kind. And I was fortunate to meet other people later in life who came from the same kind of background.
Let me just pause you for 1 second. Moana, Don Ho. Ho is not spelled H-O-E. It's H-O. You put the ing on it.
Yeah, I had to iron it the night before, thank you. And if it wasn't ironed, we went and picked them up from the dry cleaners. The end of the weekend.
And you damn right, Bill. Neil Diamond was the shit too, boy. Everywhere around the world, they come into America.
Yep.
Shit, Neil Diamond was the fucking shit.
Oh, you said Neil Diamond. I thought you said Bill Diamond. I'm like, you know.
No, Neil Diamond.
Turn on your hard light in the middle of a young boy's dream.
You go. That was the motherfucking.
I tell you who was dope though. That motherfucking Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker was the motherfucking truth.
Yeah, especially his facial impression and hand gesture.
No, I think he had cerebral palsy or something. He was the greatest cerebral palsy. He was the greatest retarded singer I ever seen in my life. Yo, did you ever see? You ever see him? Yo, did you?
I heard the words before they even left his mouth. Like he is very saying shit.
Yo, did you see him? Shit, I ain't taking that shit back. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? I was like, what's up with Joe?
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Wait. So you going to dispute that Joe Cocker was retarded? Did you? Hold on. First of all, retarded. First of all, retarded is a psychological term, and it still exists. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I know. I have therapists. I know therapists that use the word. They said no. The word. All that politically correct shit is wrong. It's not. Retarded is scientifically correct. Anyway, it's true.
I know that's it.
Did you see? Hold on. Let me do this shit. Did you see when he sung "Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong"?
Yes, I did.
And that motherfucker was some hold on to used to be
I don't want to part of this. I don't
living life,
I don't want to part of this.
looking behind. Yeah, he was.
Please cover my eyes. I don't want to part of this.
Yo, shit, y'all better pull up the Grammys of that year.
No.
You pull up the Grammys. Shit.
Yo, wow, man.
Yo.
I'd like to say,
Hey, shit.
the lady in this.
Man, y'all can be mad at me all y'all want.
Part of these antics.
Joe Cocker was retarded. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say.
Heavenly Father, my name Troy.
But I'm proud of him because
I had nothing to do with this.
unlike a lot of retarded people, he didn't require a lifetime of care. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to him.
You get up. Hold up. You didn't just get up, right?
Troy, do not repeat this. Do not repeat it.
Do the motion. How do you do it? You did it identical? Like you was related to him. I know how my uncle did this shit.
You know, I'm gonna look at this shit up. Was Joe Cocker retarded?
You're not
being a part of this shit. Don't bring Siri into your bullshit.
He gonna ask. He's gonna say, "Are you the fuck crazy?" Yo, he was not retarded. I
don't want to have anything to do with this.
Oh my god, he's still reading. What it say?
Siri down. That's what it says. Siri down.
Wait, hold on, because fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Y'all not gonna.
So what did it say?
Wait, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make it quick, Sherry.
Oh, no, that's a comedy skit. It was Joe Cocker retarded. Listen, man. Oh, fuck this shit. I'm gonna find this shit. Okay, wait.
Music show to hell.
Joe Cocker performing "Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong," and I'm gonna show you. I'll show you. Hold on. Now I'm gonna have to put the the sound down, but y'all be the judge.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Come on, man. Okay.
Yolanda Adams, where are you right now? Where is the quiet storm?
No, the sound is down, so y'all just be able to see when Joe come on. All right, there go Joe. There go Joe.
No, I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
You.
I don't know. Those hands look a little autistic to me. These are definitely retarded hands.
So he not retarded, but he got retarded hands.
Wait a minute. It ain't over, because I remember this shit.
And wait, and Gavin has a nerve to say, this is uncool.
I know, right? Maybe if we pee on him,
uncool.
Maybe if we pee on him, it'll be all right. That would be cool. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, G? That would just be too cool.
And then Moana gonna say, he do look like he had cerebral palsy.
I'm telling you, I remember this shit. I remember it like it was yesterday. Who that? Rosie Perez?
Rosie Perez.
So y'all not watching the video.
Talking about I'm a head out. Gabby talking about he's talking about peace. Gabby?
Yeah, no, this is going to be a running joke for a very long time. He brought this upon himself. Oh, you're talking about everybody likes to pee on somebody. Why nobody doing that shit? Weirdo.
So you and your boys they get together and kiss on your girl. You never go out there and do the gooey with a girl. You don't get gooey with
I know what's going on. They showing Joe Cocker from like, okay, yeah, there you go. There you go. Uh-huh.
He's feeling the music, man. He air feeling the music as it comes out of his mouth.
I'm telling you, I saw Joe Cocker performance. That's what I came up with. I was like, oh, he retarded. Okay, now I get it.
I am not a part of this.
He said, people want to say, at best, dude look like he should be begging for change down on 125th
Another thing you have to consider that Joe Cocker was heavily on drugs. So he could have had like a stroke or something like that, and he might have just looked retarded.
That just makes sense.
He might have took some shrooms and it just stopped.
But I mean, you have to also consider that being a heavy drug user is a retarded act in and of itself, right?
Well, let me ask you a question. If he looked retarded with using his hands, what about the lady that sings with Will Downey and when they go, Rochelle Farrell and her face gestures?
Now you wait a minute. Now you wait a damn minute. Wait a minute. I'm not gonna let you be disrespectful, Troy.
Well, Rochelle Farrell.
What about Rochelle Farrell and her face gestures?
Rochelle Farrell definitely didn't sing no white music. That's for sure.
No, she didn't.
No.
If you see her singing, if you pull up a picture of her singing and you'll see every facial gesture, you be thinking that she having an orgasm. As many faces she be making.
Dude, she might have been. She used to get down, so.
I don't believe you, boy. You got up, moved the chair. Yo, do the Joe Crocker.
Hold on, I got another video. This one, he ain't getting out of this.
It's a dance. Like it's a dance.
I'm getting ready to do the Joe Crocker.
It's Joe Cocker, thank you. Have a little
respect. Make it even worse. I'm not calling no man Cocker.
Well, so you won't call a cocker a rooster?
Look. Here we go again. He's showing another video. What's wrong?
Shit, I don't know.
You had him loaded or something. What the hell?
I mean, I did the search. You know what I mean? A few entries come up. Hold on. When they pull back on him, you'll see. You'll see. You'll all see.
Not you'll see.
You'll see. Go, Joe.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Swim, Joe. Swim, Joe. Swim, Joe.
What this is on Solid Gold.
I forgot about that show. Solid Gold.
So Marilyn McCool and Billy Davis Jr. Yeah. Oh my God, man.
What is wrong with
you,
Swim, Joe. Swim. Show them. See, they know.
Where is the cat at so she can take this man's phone?
That's why they doing close up so you don't see. You know what I mean? See, they don't want to show him being retarded from the neck down. I know how they the camera like no. We can't do that. We can't have him looking retarded on national television.
Wait. So So Bill said Joe married his sister's cousin. No, that's the case.
There you go. There you go.
No, not his sister's cousin, his sister cousin.
Sister cousin. There you go.
100%.
Swim, Joe. Wade in the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water. There you go, Joe. There you go. That's right. Tread water, nigga. Tread water.
What is wrong with you? Where is Kat? She is not doing her job. Come and get this phone from this man.
Joe Cocker is one of my favorite artists. That don't mean he wasn't retarded.
What's his name again?
Joe Cocker.
No, Joe. I'm not calling him Joe Cocker. I'm not doing it no more.
Then you ain't looking him up.
Joe.
Yeah, you ain't looking him up.
You're an idiot, boy.
I'm just saying.
Hey, Joe Spirit gonna fuck you up tonight. He gonna lift you up where you belong.
Look, I'm gonna pull out a 8-ball of cocaine and everything gonna be all right. We're gonna party. We're gonna party on the here and now and in the afterlife. Go, Joe. Swim, Joe. Swim, Joe.
That's it. You said, get him, Joe. Go ahead and get him. Go ahead. Oh my God, boy, this shit is crazy.
Man.
Get him, Joe. Go ahead and get him, Joe. You got it.
Joe Cocker played black music.
Oh man, boy, you got that one tonight, bro.
Look, man,
it's almost on the same level as the Monday night between when you and Kim was on here. Between that one and the night, I don't know what's wrong with you, bro.
No, oh, you talking about when that troll came through?
Yeah.
he jerking off, crying in the bathroom and shit. Oh God.
Hey, Gavin, I'm upset at you, bro. You let the Joe Cocker. I can't keep saying Cocker, bro. You let the Joe Cocker. You let the Cocker get to you. You let son get to you with the Joe Cocker after all the pissing that you've done on women all week.
Look, that nigga said, "Don't act like it's not a normal thing."
You mean to tell me you and your friends, you and your boys didn't get together? You used to do it back in the day. Nigga, when back in the day was anybody doing that?
You mean to tell me now? At one time, all you boys didn't say, "You know what, man."
He said we all peed on bitches.
My girl,
that's what we used to do. You know, everybody did that.
Yeah, that's part of the routine. Wake up, go to work, go to school, come home.
People would be dead from doing that shit. Like seriously, you know how many men would be dead from doing that?
Well, the question is, do you pee on bitches to black music or white music? That's what you gotta ask yourself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, listen to Silk and doing it.
Hold on. No, wait, hold on.
You are the weirdo.
Wait.
Yes, now you are the weirdo.
Hold on. Do you pee on bitches? Hold on.
Yes,
no. Hold on. Do you pitch? Hold on, Troy. No, check this out.
Stop.
No, check this out. Do you pee on bitches to Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin or Stairway to Heaven by the OJs? That's what you gotta figure out. You know what I mean?
Some way, somehow, you gonna go to heaven. Don't wait so hard. You're going to heaven.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When he gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed.
That was supposed to look about some goddamn white shoes. You ain't got pissed on. No, Gavin, you are uncool for that shit.
That shit was, yo.
Wanda gonna say to me, he gonna say, Gavin, it's funny, but nothing's more better than listening to Troy trying to reason with the serial killer the other night.
What serial killer? What happened?
It was a guy that came on here the other night, and I forgot what the topic was. But he said, I like women. I like women that have low self-esteem, and that I can just sit back and just walk over.
Was it?
Yeah. So I tried to talk to him and this, that, and other, and I asked him, I said, so if you had a daughter, would you allow somebody to do that? He said, no, I wouldn't like that. And then Bawana said, Joy, why are you trying to reason with a serial killer?
You know what I mean?
Was he a troll?
That motherfucker, he was about as normal as Siamese twins. Get the fuck out of here.
Shit, we've been getting we've been getting trolls on here that come on here nice, and then all of a sudden, it's gonna just get real raunchy on us. It's crazy. He's real crazy, boy. He just bust out of it.
I don't even know if I'm
one the other night, and who warned you about it, son? Who put out the warning and said just give it time? And it was just he gave him a few more seconds, and then he let his freak fly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he said. Bill got it. Bill said, "I divorced." He said, "I divorced my fat wife." That's what the guy said.
Yeah.
Oh, it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
It wasn't. Yeah, that is Bill. That was Bill that said that. He said it was me.
The fuck? All right, it's 3:00. We started at 1. We out of here.
This can't be happening right now, bro.
Oh, my fucking goodness.
That was me, the fool. I divorced my fat wife.
I'm fucking done.
But I'm not shallow.
I'm good.
Hey, Bill, I love you, bro.
I'm good. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button. Hold on. Let's do this poll.
Oh my God, man! This night couldn't end any better. Then somebody just gonna come on here. Go another troll. You just got on here. What's up, you bald geezer? We don't even know you.
I know, right? This is definitely not his first time here. He been here before. All right, let's do the results of the poll. All right, do you remember when black music and white music was a thing? Do you acknowledge that? Well, 55% of the people who voted said yes, it was definitely a thing. 13% says never was a thing, all made up. 16% says it was real if you believed in it. And 16% says I'm just glad that era is over. So, except for the majority that probably lived during that time, who understands that it was definitely a real thing, the rest of the votes are pretty balanced. But it was definitely a thing, and yeah, and it's all right to be glad that it's over. I'm glad it's over too. I'm glad it's over too, because anything that's segregationist is going to restrict you in some kind of way. Because when things are laid out, I mean, what's the difference between having black music and white music and having black restaurants and black water fountains and black parks, schools, and all that kind of stuff? it doesn't just exist in a vacuum or just a few things or in an innocent way, some type of way. It's not really cool. Once it and this it's funny because there's a big push to get it back to that. And one in
my state is doing it. They're not even pushing. My state is doing it.
Well, yeah. So on one end, they're pushing anti-segregation, no separation, whatever. Everything is just American. And then on the other side, they clearly want to draw a line in the sand again where it used to be.
I just want to say something. Let me just stop 1 minute. I would like to say something to Rusty Nell. Rusty Nell, you do know your mother, your generation has black people in it because my great-great-grandfather had sex with your great-great-grandmother, Rusty Nell. Let you know, you got black in your family.
Mm.
so type on that one.
He said segregation is a good thing. Why mix high IQ and low IQ? You're right, but there are some white people who have high IQ.
Right.
They're not all dumb. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, why marginalize yourself? We know y'all got low IQs.
Yo, before Trump, nobody talked about IQ anymore.
No.
That shit had been dead for like 30 years. This motherfucker resurrected IQ. When was the last time? What was the last time?
The word groceries. So,
listen,
I mean.
The last time I seen something about IQ was on Good Times when they gave the man the IQ, the hood IQ test.
Oh my God. I hate it. I fucking hated that episode, boy. I hate it. I fucking hated that episode. I hated that episode.
Yeah, there's most of the episodes I hated. Now that I watch them later in life, and I'm like, God, why did I like this thing?
I just never understood.
Because we didn't. We liked it because we didn't have.
And when they made a come up, Florida always just knocked that shit down. God didn't want us to take that money.
Well, good. Like I said, good times was the black Gilligan's Island. They couldn't.
Oh my God! You know what? You know what? I never thought about it that way, son.
It was every chance they had to get up out of them projects. Something kept them in there, and everybody else got out of the projects, but they stayed in that bitch. They didn't get out of the projects until the last fucking episode. Disgraceful. Fucking disgraceful. They had opportunities to do TV commercials, all kinds of, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers coming up in Cabrini Green projects like it's sweet like that. And them motherfuckers, but the Evans couldn't be helped. All they had was themselves and shit.
It just fucked me up because I still try to, every time I listen to the song, I still try to find out where the good times came in at.
I just want to know, was Thelma Mary Ann or Ginger?
I think she was Ginger.
I'll let her. Ginger. She could be Ginger. She could definitely
be Ginger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Ginger's supposed to have been the best looking one on the show.
Well, it wasn't no Mr. and Mrs. Howell, that's for sure. Unless
Bill said, I like the janitor, Buffalo Butt. No, you don't, because you don't like fat people. No, you don't, Bill.
But yeah,
for one to go ask Bill, he said, Bill, how many women you got tied up in your basement?
Yo, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button before we get on up out of here. We about to do these birthday shout outs and then we going to get out of here.
Much love, man. It's always a pleasure, man.
Without a doubt.
Thanks for the laugh.
Without a doubt.
Good, everyone. Stay safe.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna give y'all like R. Kelly used to say, I don't usually do this, but the show next week, so y'all can get ready. Y'all can go ahead and study, and y'all have a whole week to do it. Next week, we're gonna be talking about the originals versus the remixes.
Oh, that's decent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And remixes can be the long versions, or they can be the straight up remixes.
So are we talking about the remixes that have mashups or just the remix that's the same song, just a little different?
Well, let's say, yeah, it would be the same song, but sometimes the remix sounds totally different than the original song. So we're going to basically talk about which one was better. So you take like the remix, like, you know, staying on the R. Kelly thing, the remix, what do y'all think was better? Bump and Grind the original or Bump and Grind the remix?
I like the remix.
The remix was on fire, right?
The remix was the ball.
Yeah. But both of them you could definitely listen to.
Yeah, but that remix was dangerous.
Yeah. So R. Kelly kind of got it popping with in R&B, as far as making a remix that was totally different from the original song, because it was a whole different song. But you,
I like it. You got.
I like how you already. I'm not even gonna say it. The remix was the better version. Okay.
But the first remix that I ever heard, which was different from, was a totally different song from the original, was Ultramagnetic, and I think the song was Get Funky. Because the remix was the but the original version was nothing like that. Like they totally made a different song. So they the first.
You know who else used that beat though? EPMD.
Yeah,
that Patty Wet.
Yeah,
they used that same beat.
They did. Yeah. They did, but that was actually, they made their album after. They used the beat after Ultramagnetic did it. Because Ultramagnetic did it in 88. And EPMD did that song, the Knick Knack Paddywhack, in 89 on a second album.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Like, I'm just going to give you one right now before we hang up.
Motherfucker, no. Hold it. And then we gonna start fresh. You know what I mean? Nah.
Do you want to say something to Circus Rat real quick before we hang up?
Circus Rat? Oh, what the fuck is he doing? Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Let me say something to the Circus Rat. All right, Circus Rat. Let me say this. All right, y'all. So I'll holler at y'all tomorrow 1:30. If y'all get up, or if y'all can come through. Other than that, thanks for the love, thanks for the good times, thanks for the information, thanks for everything.
All day, bro. Much love, man.
All right, man. Stay safe, everyone.
Peaceful.
Peace.
All right, y'all, let's do these birthday shout outs and then let's get on up out of here. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 23rd, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. Look at the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. Look at the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. Look at the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Victoria Marshall. Happy birthday to you. And also my girl Indigenous SA. Happy birthday. And also Amawumi Lizzie Barbaranti. Happy birthday to you. And Melva Bayo. And Melissa, always a lady first. And who else? Right. Harold Smith, and my girl Katrina Eichenberger, Eichelberger Covington. Happy birthday to you, young, and she's just a baby, a mere 42 years old. And my former next door neighbor, of Nigerian descent, Deborah Inyama, happy birthday to you. And Cheryl Bain Stapleon, happy birthday. And I believe that's, oh, no. Last but not least, nope, almost last but not least, Cindy Giles. Last but not least, my girl, Robin Matthews. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious May 23rd, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and I go hard, go for your yeah. Black and white, that's how I used to be, whether it was right or wrong. They separated the songs and where you could live and go to school. It was full. And it's kind of like that still, but still, you got some money, you can get it real as you want it to be. Sometimes you gotta create your reality. And it won't be real to everybody, but sometimes we get cloaked in the fake, and it's something I can't take. I wake every day and try to come with a purpose, but I get nervous when I know that my kids might have to struggle real hard, even if they found God. And it's hard to be a black man, but I don't want to put it on the white because I got it right. My parents taught me to be the best that I could be, whether I joined the Navy or Army, I arm myself with knowledge. And that's whether or not I finished my grades in college. And I did that in 93. So all of that racism shit is behind me, but it's still in front. Is it really what I want? Well, I gotta roll with the punches and I'ma do crunches so I can get my stomach right. So I don't be feeling all queasy when people don't treat me at night like I'm some kind of predator, some kind of criminal. I ain't going that shit to subliminal message that be getting sent. It ain't heaven sent. Sometimes I wonder where the hell heaven went, because some people seem to have that shit on earth, but that seems to be all financial for what it's worth. I'ma still birth me a child, and that motherfucker ain't gonna be all that wild. But, you know, wild like salmon that gets caught, not that shit that's farm raised. I still praise God like the head of Marcus Hayes. Should I say Isaac Hayes? You know what I mean. Mayonnaise is good for the potato salad. Sometimes it's word salad. Sometimes it fills my palate. And I keep eating. I'm still learning and teaching. I'm still reaching out to people that still be preaching, telling me that I gotta make sure that I get saved. I'm just trying to be out here and try to behave, staying out of trouble on the double. I'm like running double time, running from that crime. And the crime is sometimes just being a black man. Got caught driving while black 2 weeks ago. Oh no, here comes the boys in blue. And then even when the boys in blue got the same skin as you, that don't mean that you're going to get away or get a play. Sometimes it might even be your last day. I'm from the CERT team. I'm from the bullshit. Yeah, sometimes you got to put up with all of it. But you still keep like striving and pressing on until the last day when you was born. You had a purpose and you still got to find it. And sometimes you be forgetting it. You're going to get reminded that you got to still improve, improve, be on the move. Yo, soothe, just like a pill, but don't take too many of them, you know, like them blocks of Xannies. Not many people really have a chance to be the best, but I'm going to do this shit and I'm going to leave all the rest. Separate the wheat from the chaff. Drink the coffee with the half and half. Count it up, do the math. I miss my dad like a motherfucker, sucker. Cause he always kept me grounded. And when I lost shit, I still found it. I can be the best that there ever was and still build and spend a lot of time with my cuz. Cause he was positive hell too. And I wish that some of these days he would come on through, but be separated by time and distance. And sometimes even the things I want to get, there's resistance. Can't always have it exactly when you want it, but that's better than drinking my life away and getting blunted. I want to thank all of y'all for coming by. I want to thank God for making me stop getting high. I want to thank my parents for raising me right. I want to thank my daughter for saving the night and getting me on my joint to be raised the right way. Be attentive, give praise. And I want to thank hamburgers because shit's as good as hell. Even they bad for my health. Yo, peace to y'all. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow, which is really today, 1:30 p.m. I'm about to go to bed, wake up, and do another show. I will be here at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, tomorrow, however you put it. Hopefully y'all come on through for the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We're going to be talking about something fly. Can I tell y'all exactly what it's going to be? Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I know what it's going to be. Nope. But you know me. I'll come up with something in a few hours. Please, y'all, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I appreciate all y'all coming through. Thanks for following the movement. All right. Peace, y'all.